Hello everyone, Please Don't Cry 2 here with you, bringing you another wonderful Battlefield Hardline video. Thank you all so much for coming by and checking out this video. I really do appreciate it. In this video, what I'm actually going to go over with you is the test and review of the MP5K, which is the initial weapon that you actually get for the mechanics class. You can use it on both sides, which is always a bonus. This review is brought to you thanks to Venom Gaming 7185, who was the one that actually suggested this video, or as I know him, Black Panther. Thank you so much, Black Panther. You've been an awesome platoon member and a huge support to this channel, so thank you so much for suggesting this video. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the MP5K, let's look at it here. We've got a rate of fire of around 850 rounds per minute. Okay, so basically what that tells us right off the bat is that this is a fast firing gun. Now with your faster firing guns, and especially since it's an SMG, it is going to be designed for closer quarters combat. Okay, so that is definitely how I'm going to recommend using it. It is how I've seen the weapon used it the best. The other attachments that we can put on it, we can put on whatever sight we want. If you want to go all the way up to a 4x sight, you can do that, but I personally prefer the Cobra sight. And then as far as secondary options, we have extended magazine. So if you're finding yourself you need a little bit more rounds in the magazine, then of course you would go with this. We have the stock option, which is going to go ahead and give us a little bit more control when we're aiming down our sights. And then we have a laser sight, which is actually going to give us a better accuracy when we're hip firing and make our shots a little bit more predictable. Now, as far as muzzles, what we have for it, we have the suppressor, the heavy barrel, pretty much your standard muzzle brakes, compensator, okay, flash hider, all right? So I personally like using the suppressor on this weapon, and the reason for it is this weapon, what I would recommend you do with it is it's one of those weapons, like if you like playing stealthy and you like to flank around the backside of the enemy and kind of wipe them out without them really knowing that you exist, this is a very good weapon for that because it is extremely high fire rate. It's easy control, so if you want to, go hip fire with it or do whatever, you could run around. It's basically like a rogue. You run around like crazy and kill a lot of people and things like that. So it's going to be really good for maps like Grow House, maybe Alcatraz, in the Bravo area there if you're doing some stuff like that. But really what this is good for, like I said, is kind of if you're going into an objective, maybe on Conquest or something like that, and you're kind of sneaking around and capturing the whole objective without them knowing you exist. So that's where this gun is really going to shine. So I'm going to go ahead and use it on the suppressor here. And then I recommend using the 44 Magnum as your secondary. And the reason why I recommend that is because this has quite a bit of range to it. So if you find yourself in a situation where you don't have, the MP5K, it doesn't really have much range to it. So if you're finding yourself in a situation where you need to either engage a sniper or somebody that's a little bit farther outside the range of the MP5K, then you have that 44 Magnum there, and I always try to kind of balance whenever I'm using a class. If I'm using professional, obviously I want like what I call the holy shit gun, which is where you switch to it, your G18C, your Tech 9, something that you can switch to so you can go ahead and eliminate somebody that has a automatic firing weapon. So for this particular situation, seeing as though I already have that for my primary, I'm going to go with something a little bit more accurate, heavy hitter for my secondary. Okay, and then I have armored insert and satellite phone. Because I'm playing on Conquest, I always recommend, or really in anything, if you're a mechanic, unless you're trying to take out vehicles or do something like that, you always want to have a satellite phone so you can give your team a better spawn point. If you're on a smaller map like this one here, which is Grow House, you may not need it so much, just because like your spawn to where the objective is, as far as having a satellite beacon or a satellite phone, if you want to call it, you're not going to be using it too much, but I'm going to go ahead and leave that on there so I don't mess anything up with my class. But I will go ahead and make a video on the gadgets and everything for each individual class. I have had a suggestion for the Enforcer and going through that, also vehicles and things like that, so look out for that. So let's go ahead and use this weapon. Now, like I said, I'm going to leave it on the suppressed fire, and I'm just going to see if I can do a little bit of sneaking around here. Maybe get some enemies that don't know I exist. So we got a guy right up here. Let's see if we can get him. There we go. Okay, his buddy doesn't even know I exist, but I think these blueberries just got him. And if you're not familiar with the term blueberry, basically what it means is that it's from Battlefield Friends. Basically, if you haven't heard of Battlefield Friends, make sure you guys check those out. Those guys are amazing, make some awesome videos, hilarious, huge part of the community, so make sure you guys go and support them. I will leave a link down in the description to their channel, as well as Venom 7185. Make sure you guys go check out his channel as well, because like I said, he's the one that's wanted us to do this video. But, so that's where that term comes from, in case you're wondering. Okay? See, like, that guy doesn't even know I exist. And then there's another one here. That's what this gun is really good for. It's just kind of sneaking around, being stealthy, taking out enemies, but that don't know you're there. And that's where, because you want to be in that close quarters, and you don't want all, you don't want to go, loud with this weapon. I wouldn't recommend, because even though you can put an extended mag in it, it burns through ammo really fast. And the second thing is, I mean, it doesn't really have the power to it to be able to take out, I mean, I've taken out a few targets, maybe 2 or 3 with a magazine, but it doesn't really have that stopping power to where you could just mow everybody down. Typically, you're going to end up losing the engagement. So that's the couple of tips that I'm definitely going to give you is you definitely want to use this gun in a close quarters. And try to use it stealthily, because it's really not a hard hitter by any means. Okay, see, like right there. I mean, there was somebody else there. Granted, it wasn't the same guy, but you're not going to be able to take out your enemy so quickly that you can move on to the next one. I mean, typically it's going to take close to a full clip unless you're like really close, because what ends up happening with it is it doesn't actually have the ability to put a stubby grip on it. It already has a grip on there. So what I find a lot is with this gun, firing it on automatic fire, I mean, if you're, maybe 5 meters, within 5 to 10 meters, you're okay. But once you get into like 20 to 30 meters, that spread there on automatic fire, it really starts to give you that, that penalty there. So, okay. Now, obviously, there was more guys on the roof there. But that's pretty much it with this weapon. I mean, it's a fast firing. It's very good for stealth action. You could throw a muzzle brake or something like that on there if you wanted to. Putting a heavy barrel is going to extend your range a little bit and maybe extend your accuracy just a little bit. But the biggest thing with that is you're going to be visible on the minimap almost immediately. And the availability or the available range with this weapon and where it's actually effective, it doesn't really help you out that much with this particular weapon, I don't think, personally. But make sure you guys let me know in the comment section down below if you guys do like this weapon, if you guys think that the suppressor's the best, the heavy barrel, what have you, if maybe there's some other thing that I'm not doing, if, before I end it, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and put a laser sight on it, and I'll try it with a muzzle brake, and I'm just going to kind of run around with it a little bit more and see if I can do some hip firing. Now, look how small that reticle gets. That's one of the beauties of putting like a laser sight on it. I mean, if I crouch, I almost have a straight up crosshair there. So that's one of the nice things about running with a gun like this, is I can just straight up, see that? I was getting headshots on the guy. You don't even really have to aim down the sights with this weapon. I mean, obviously, if you're going to be running around or doing something like that, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to hit on accurate shots. But it's definitely a gun that you want to run and gun with, hip fire a lot, do some things like that. But those are really where those SMGs and those faster firing weapons, that's really where they show their strong points. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, like I said, don't forget to check out Venom Gaming 7185, or as I know him, Black Panther. I will put a link down in the description. Also, make sure you guys check out Battlefield Friends. If you guys don't know who they are, I mean, they're a huge part of the Battlefield community. Hilarious guys. Make sure you guys check them out and show them some love. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.